Hey, good morning, good afternoon. I want to thank everyone today for taking the time to join us for our America's webinar on Gupta Team Developer, Modernizing Your Gupta TD Business Applications. My name is Murray Melko. I have 22 years at OpenText, a long history developing customers, the goals of achieving cost savings with projects and helping drive improvements in application performance. With me today is my co-host, Martin Tees. He's also 22 years with OpenText, with an extensive background in all aspects of product marketing and product management. Here is our agenda today. Before we get into the particulars, and Martin will share on different versions of Team Developer, some introductory notes. First, a comment on OpenText. At OpenText, we've been delivering trusted solutions and quality partnerships with customers for almost 30 years. As Canada's largest software company, we're headquartered in Waterloo, Canada, but we have regional headquarters across the globe in Germany, Tokyo, US, and Australia. These regional headquarters enable us to provide complete coverage for our global enterprise customers. And now about 90% of Fortune 1000 companies use OpenText to manage information in the enterprise. OpenText Gupta is a rapid application development platform, an all-in-one package, requiring minimal training, comparatively short learning curve, ability to expedite software application development for fast-to-market projects, and customers who need a reliable and stable environment. It covers low-code development, the ability to quickly produce functioning prototypes through drag and drop out-of-the-box package functionality. Many customers provided feedbacks that we can provide team developer projects almost twice as fast as the productivity that can be seen with C+ or Java. Gupta is used for countless different application development projects impacting your everyday life, from finance to health to quality of life to many elements of tourism and travel, to name a few examples. Included on the screen are the Gupta products under active development. Our webinar today will focus on our flagship team developer solution, key business drivers and benefits with major feature changes from versions 4 up to version 7.5. My colleague Martin will spend some time and go through some details discussing innovations of Team Developer, the major versions up to date. But we first wanted to touch on and share the Gupta roadmap of future enhancements to come into late 2023, similarly including Gupta SQL-based roadmap as a point of comparative reference. As the Gupta family includes a wide range of use cases, many customer success stories across different industry sectors, as shown on the slide. As an example, our customer Audit Data uses both SQL-based and Team Developer as their main platform for the last several decades, use it for testing and reporting, and enjoy having one package, a completely integrated development environment for their project-related requirements. Before we get into the team development version upgrade enhancements and benefits, a few comments on the RAD and low-code tool markets. Today, the RAD market is $50 billion globally, growing substantially year over year to a forecasted $127 billion by 2027. There's also projections that this market will reach a market size of $800 billion by 2030, according to Global Industry Analyst report. As a subset of RAD, low-code tools will grow 20% in 2023 and will grow by $26 billion this year, with an estimated $44 billion by 2026, according to Gartner. So as you can see, there is a massive acceleration in this particular market, as many already follow and are well aware. So what are the drivers that are kind of fueling this growth, this acceleration? Well, there's a couple of key ones that need to be mentioned. Cloud-based offerings, particularly a small and medium business, require accessibility, flexibility, security. There is a global shortage of full-time developers, and IT skills for code development have an enormous shortage. And as such, this is fueling and impacting project deliverability. Gartner, they call this hyperautomation or composable business initiatives as the drivers accelerating the adoption of low-code technologies between now and 2026. Composable is simply the concept to break down services and processes into microservices or package business capabilities and putting together these new offerings by merging them and sort of building blocks. A comment on the actual trends in the industries. Increasing innovation in the business, integration of advanced technologies is at the forefront, but at the same time, the challenges of application development times are still a major challenge. With that, obviously, is coming the emergence of these low-code platforms to address the needs of speed and agility. As mentioned, small and medium businesses are now preferring some cloud-based solutions as a mean to control costs. The rapid growth of custom applications are up about 5 times the market in their ability to respond, and there's a huge current backlog of IT projects that is further fueling and causing challenges within the market. So this time I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Martin Tees, and he's going to get into specifics of our team developer and different innovations over the last several versions to current. Over to you, Martin.
Thank you very much, Murray, and a big welcome from my side. So we are going to look through the decades of team developer benefits and features that have been provided. And starting really with Team Developer 4.2 that has been released in the year 2007 and is still kind of in the heritage of SQL Windows that was released like in the beginning of the 90s. And I would say Gupta Team Developer 4.2 is our stable legacy version of code. So you might still use it. It likely still runs on modern Windows versions with little security tweaks here and there. But what this presentation today is really about is what came after 4.2. And let's move into the 5 series of Team Developer, which addressed application usability and global markets. So with Team Developer 5.1 in 2008, we basically set the foundation for the future of Team Developer. We introduced an attractive-looking UI theming mechanism that allowed developers and users to switch the graphical appearance of the user interface during runtime, and for the developer also during development time for the IDE itself. So this is basically the basis for a more attractive design of applications. We used to say, Battleship Gray was before that, when I don't know if you remember, like, was it Windows 95 or something, when everything was Battleship Gray, and what that was in a step in the world of more colorful applications and more fun to use applications. And the second step in Team Developer 5.1 was the ability for you to sell to international markets by supporting Unicode. At that time, also, Windows has moved to Unicode, and basically the entire user interface of Team Developer became Unicode. And you could sell your applications not only in North America, but also Latin America, maybe with some special Spanish characters, or to Asian markets where you have completely different character sets, or Middle East as well. And many of our customers have done so. They sell their applications globally and have totally customized user interfaces using the Unicode fonts that we support. Excuse me. And then we had Team Developer 5.2 in 2009, which allowed you to create highly competitive applications by providing very attractive UX controls. You get this grid control that is a very visually attractive, not only visually attractive, also a very high usability control to interact with data in your day-to-day tasks. And we provided a table-to-grid conversion tool that converted the source code that you created for the table window before into the grid window. We also introduced the rich text control in Team Developer and Report Builder, so you could create basically formatted documents, store these documents in a database, in files, And with Report Builder, basically create reports that included formatted text in PDF format, for example. We also introduced the ribbon bar, which allows you to create Microsoft Office type applications from then on. Team Developer 6.x was a big step then, application modernization and developer productivity around the several releases here. It started with Team Developer 6.0 in 2010. We provided the ability to use existing source code and create high usability .NET applications. So without changing your code, you could compile your applications with .NET. You can extend your applications with .NET features and with a full integration into the Microsoft .NET ecosystem, basically. Now, in detail, that means .NET WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation applications, that they have the highest kind of usability and flexibility in UX design and UX rendering. And we introduced a number of controls like Page Navigator, which is like the Outlook control. We have that tree control on the left side, and depending on what you click there, the right side changes. A tree control, enhanced tab control, a new toolbar, WPF control container, which basically is the follow-on on ActiveX on the Win32, Win64 side. So you could use the .NET controls as well. And here are a few screenshots of that. So applications started to look much nicer. They were colorful. The application was easier to access. You could create grids with data grouping in the grid, and have lots of detailed information in the grid that included images, dates, URLs, and things like that. And with 6.1 in 2011, we introduced many enhancements to the .NET development system. We basically provided multi-tier distributed business applications. You could leverage any web service functionality available from within your team developer code. But not only could you leverage outside web services, but you could also create your own web services and be a web services provider to other applications. So basically, creating code and consuming code in a distributed world was introduced in 2011. Programmer productivity, you did get color-coded code, so it's easier to read code. Active coding assistant enhancements. The active coding assistant has been enhanced over the many releases we did, and is now a very, very powerful and easy to use coding help. Also, we introduced a new charting control that provides very detailed information, including statistic lines. There's a whole API just for the charting control that lets you control every detail of a charting control. And the code snippet there shows how to call a web service, which basically one call to call a web service, and then you have that data in your UDV on the application side. Then moving to Team Developer 6.2 in 2013, many UI enhancements, increased usability. So you can see that UI is one of the major themes that have been enhanced in Team Developer during the years, just to be nicer to the user, in fact. So not only presenting the data in a nicer format or presenting his work interface in a nicer way, but also increasing productivity for the user, because with less clicks, more information can be displayed, and decisions can be made quicker, and work task plan can be completed quicker. And also we made future-proof decisions, more .NET platform support in Team Developer 6.2. So what you did get in 6.2 is 64-bit .NET applications, plus the platform-agnostic .NET applications, which means you can compile that, and depending on the client machine architecture, it can run in 32-bit or 64-bit environments, .NET environments. We also introduced .NET exceptions for .NET error handling. We introduced support for the SQL-based read committed log mode support, which poses no logs doing data reading. And we introduced an enhanced ribbon bar so the user can quickly access features of the application, and many enhancements to UI controls. So here you see on the top is the enhanced ribbon bar. Many more possibilities, small buttons, large buttons, drop-down lists, picture lists, and whatnot. Then in the middle, you see that meter control, which is nicely integrated and available. Then a bit of code that shows the when exception code. And at the bottom, you see the new chart or enhanced chart control. And you can see that this chart actually includes two charts in one control. So on top, you see one chart with many statistical lines, and on the bottom, another chart. So this chart control is extremely powerful and helps you to visualize complex data in your applications and also in your reports, of course. In Team Developer 6.3, you get increased programming productivity. So these are many things that we did for Team Developer is, on the one side, create a better experience for the application user, and on the other hand, create a better experience for the developer itself. And both of these things you will see again and again in our product releases that we did in the past years. So many UI enhancements for higher usability of your applications. In 6.3, we enhanced object-oriented programming. Team Developer was one of the first, if not the first, Windows-based object-oriented programming language. And with this release, we introduced constructors and destructors so that every control and every class can have your constructor code and destructor code. We also introduced, again, many enhancements to UI controls and introduced a new date picker to choose dates and times very easily. So here's the code of a push button class, and you see there's a constructor section where you have the code for initializing your environment for that object, and then a destructor code section where you can clean up the object before it gets destroyed. With Team Developer 7.0, and that now is when Open Text Times, since OpenText acquired Gupta in 2015. Team Developer 7.0 was the first OpenText release. And again, UI flexibility and developer productivity were the main themes throughout this 7.x releases. And you see, we had quite a few 7.x releases during OpenText times. 7.0 in 2016, you get future platform support, REST support. So basically, the world has moved from a bit from web services to REST services, changing from XML data that is being sent around to JSON data that is being sent around. Enhanced programmer productivity in 7.0. So with 7.0, you get 32-bit and 64-bit native Team Developer applications, so not .NET. The REST API, you can call REST services wherever they are. In programming, you get functional overloading, so you can create multiple functions with the same name but different signature of the function. You get object-oriented programming enhancements like encapsulation of public and protected class variables. So here are a few screenshots for that. A Win64 support with full 64-bit applications. So that means that you can, and our customers did have huge applications on Win32 already. And sometimes they just did hit the limits of Windows. There wasn't enough memory, processing couldn't proceed. The applications couldn't grow further. And with Win64, that problem basically is gone because you can address huge amounts of memory, and Win64 applications are faster and take advantage of a lot more memory available to Windows applications, though the size of application is a non-issue with Team Developer 7.0, basically. And then you have the grid control with the text search capability there, or you can put in conditions to search in the data that is displayed on the screen. And then a bit of code that shows the same function name, show text, having different signatures, so different parameter lists for you to make to have better readable code. In Team Developer 7.1, you get IP protection, modern team-based source code management, and higher app usability. So the name Team Developer basically came from the fact that Team Object Manager was a source and team management tool that we provided in the mid-90s, which was very good, was used by many teams. But later, let's say in the mid-2010 years, people moved more and more to Subversion, Git, so cloud-based source code management or network-based source management using open source tools like Subversion and Git became very popular. So we included those support for those in Team Developer. So you can basically access Git, Subversion, and Team Foundation Server from within Team Developer, the IDEs for the developer. And you have your access to the entire source code bases. You can do commits, check out, check in, and things like that. And this is how that looks. In Team Developer 7.1, we also introduced the multi-threading for application usability. So if you have long-running computations that would prevent the user from doing anything from your application, you can now move these computations to threads, and the threads will run in the background, and the user can use the application in the foreground and work with the data. And the other two screenshots there are just the interfaces for Subversion and Git from within Team Developer. You basically see the source code tree, and then you can open the source code from within that tree, change that code, and then commit your code changes to the team repository, be it Subversion, Git, or Microsoft Team Foundation Server. Team Developer 7.2 in 2019. There we introduced code analysis for better performing applications. So many users, many application developers wanted to know, in some cases, my application doesn't perform too well, but it's hard to tell, basically, is it my fault? Did I code something that is performing very slowly, or is it a Gupta problem, or is it a database problem, or whatever? So using code analysis, developers are able to analyze the application performance and find out where the bottlenecks are really, and basically blame the right person and have the right person fix the issue. The REST wizard is something new. You probably have seen JSON strings, JSON responses, which are a long string of curved brackets on and off and stuff like that, and the description. And creating a UDV from just the data manually is very complicated. So we created a wizard that analyzes the data and creates the UDV for you, so you don't have to create that manually. And that allows you to call a REST service with just one line of code, and the data that is being returned is in a UDV or an array of UDV. And the same is true when you submit data to a REST service. You just provide the UDV call, make one call, and that's it. And we also included, the OAuth authentication for a REST service. Another nice new feature that was in Team Developer 7.2 are Windows notifications. So you could throw notifications, and they would tell the user something has happened. Maybe an order has been processed or has been shipped, and now the clerk has to enter something into the application to finalize a workflow or things like that. So in the top screenshot there, you can see that some of the code lines are red, and you can set a threshold of like 10 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds, whatever threshold you want for code execution, and everything that takes longer is then displayed in red here in that code analysis viewer. There's a notification here in the middle that is a Windows notification that you can trigger from Team Developer applications. And the last screenshot at the bottom is basically JSON code that we automatically analyze and create a UDV for the developer, so that you don't have to analyze that manually. So 7.3 in 2010-20. Now we had all these things like platform support for .NET Win and 64-bit, Win32, Win64, source code management, better code analysis. And the next thing is really support for very large displays. So team developer application screens have been basically static, and you designed them and they were having the same size. And with screens having larger and larger resolutions, these windows became smaller and smaller, but you weren't really taking advantage of the larger screen real estate with 4K UHD displays. So many tablets today have like more than 4K resolution, and you want to change your application to support those. So the first thing that we did in 7.3 was support for a responsive layout. And basically, you could display more information on larger displays. And that feature is called control anchoring, and we implemented that in 7.3. Also enhanced code profiling, with more drill-down capabilities and possibilities to programmatically insert lines into the report that is being generated, so you know more precisely what's going on in that report. A totally revamped SAL mail API to cope for modern times. And this is how that looks. There will be some, I will be sharing a few screenshots of these things later that will make it clearer as to what this responsive layout and control anchoring really means to applications. Now, control anchoring, displaying more information in the case of having larger displays, is one of the options. The other option is you want window zooming. You basically have a 4K display and you want the contents of the window to be larger fonts, and you have the same kind of information but larger font basically. That's very helpful for the older generation that usually has stronger glasses on, like myself, and so you can increase basically the font size of the contents of a window. Also developer productivity enhancements. So window zooming from 100% to 400% programmable, control anchoring enhancements. And then also in programming, we got for each loops that make programming loops very, very easy. You can now copy UDVs with one line of code. You don't have to create your own loops to do that. And many reporting enhancements were available in Team Developer 7.4. Like, for example, 16 break groups is one of the things that I recall from scratch. And window zooming there at the top. And then this year, a few months ago, we released Team Developer 7.5 with an enhanced developer experience and enhanced usability. So we improved the developer experience. We introduced new build options for the developer so that the developer can control any aspect of the build that is being created. We introduced a new web browser control. The old one that we had didn't work too well with modern HTML5 applications, basically. So now you have an edge-based browser control with Team Developer 7.5 for very good web performance and functionality. Now here are some of the laser screenshots I promised. You can see that this is the page navigator control on the left. This is basically a vertical tab control where you have different things in those tabs here. In this case, we have a tree control in the tab, and you can click on other things on the left side. And depending on what you click on the left side, you get a different layout on the right side. On the top, you have a ribbon bar with, in this case, I almost only used large icons and none of the fancy things with drop-down images and things like that. But I guess you get the idea. And the the grid control there shows that, for example, paid invoices are shown in green, unpaid invoices are shown in red. Then you can, of course, always include invoices and have, not invoices, you can always include reports in the applications, have a preview of the report, And you can always either print that invoice to a printer or save that report to a PDF file, which is very popular. For example, you can save an invoice as a PDF file on disk and then use the SAL Mail API to mail that invoice out to your customer. This is the chart control, but this, was very simple data in this case here, not as complicated as I showed before. And this is the grid control with several of the column types that you can have. The company column here are buttons. You can click on a company there, and it would show I think in the Google map, something related to that company. Then for every company, it shows a meter control with how much of their invoices have been paid, city, Google Maps links, so many visual displays of information that are nice and handy. Also, this is the rich text control here. You can basically write formatted text, send that text by email. You can, again, create a PDF out of that, mail that PDF, and print that PDF, print that rich text content as well. And here you see the first step of the 4K display support. In the past, you see that on the left side, I have that window with an 100% above. No, sorry, this is not about the 100%. This is about increasing the real estate for the application. And you can see the left window shows very little data, whereas the right window shows a lot more data, and that is by leveraging the control anchoring support in Team Developer. And the other thing is the zoom. So basically, you can have 100% zoom, which is in the background there, and in the foreground, you have a 400% zoom. So basically, you can set your application to the zoom level you want. These are the things for the 4K displays. So, and all this you did get, or you do get with minimal code changes and maximum investment protection. We do still have customers that move SQL Windows 16-bit code to the latest Team Developer release. And, compare that to the history of Visual Basic to Visual Basic.NET, where you basically had to rewrite at least 60% of your applications. Team Developer protects your investments. You can still get your old Team Developer 4.2 code, for example, and get that to the latest 7.5 level, and create all the nice things that I have been demonstrating here for you. And one more thing that I want to show you is the Team Developer Cloud or Software as a Service possibility. You can run Team Developer applications from any location and any device. So users expect access to Team Developer business solutions from anywhere and from any device. IT needs to support many customers. You need to have a multi-tenant capable system. You need to have easy user and group management, easy application assignment for the virtual or remote application. Also important is the cost for the software as a service infrastructure. Do I do this on-prem with on-prem investments, or do I move to the cloud? Is that easy to calculate? What are the security requirements for hybrid work? So can a user download IP, print IP? So security-related questions in a software as a service model. And for all this, OpenText has a solution, which is called OpenText Exceed Turbo X, which is application and desktop virtualization. It resolves the user and IT challenges of hybrid work and software as a service for Team Developer. You get easy remote work for TD business applications. You have blazing fast access to applications. You can support 2 4K displays remotely for a business Windows desktop. You can work from anywhere, use any device, multi-tenant application deployment, and use any cloud at on-prem in any mixture you want. It's reliable, you never lose work, because if you lose a connection, then the session will continue to run in the data center or in the cloud, and you can reconnect. You can suspend and resume sessions on any device. So for example, you can work in your office on a Windows desktop with remote access, and then go home, use your iPad and continue work on that session. That is a team developer application running in the cloud or in the data center. So this is a quick option for other offerings that OpenText has, and basically enables team developer applications to be deployed to the cloud or to your own data center. So OpenText Exceed Turbo X, fast virtualization for Windows applications and remote desktops. X is any Windows and Linux software on any Windows and Linux desktop from any platform. You secure your intellectual property, you have central management, and you can collaborate there. You can virtualize software running on Windows, Linux, and Unix, and users can access the virtualized software from any platform, really. And with that, I'd like to just give a quick summary here. With Team Developer, you extend the life of existing applications. You have an attractive, competitive user interface that helps you win against your competitors. You have high usability applications. You have high developer usability, agile, low-code software development that is probably many times faster than any other 3GL software like C# or Java. And we have cloud and software as a service support available for you as well. And we do also have a lot more detailed information. So I just want to point you to YouTube here. And actually, this presentation here is available as a PDF for download from your webinar center that you're using right now. And all the links are in that application. And I encourage you to watch all the things that you want to see. Now, depending on the version where you are and where you want to go, you can see I've provided you a comprehensive list of videos that tell you all the details of moving to more modern versions of Team Developer. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Murray again.
All right, thanks very much, Martin. I appreciate that for the comprehensive list of version features and benefit highlights you provided. Just to recap and kind of summarize, revert back to some of the business impact. Our customers in discussions have indicated that they find it hard to win projects. Competitive market, when they do, they need better controls on project costs, and that initial customer project estimates often need to be changed mid-delivery via change orders. They continue to be unhappy about certain delays in project delivery that is often unforeseen. And they're looking for and continue to need a solution that has maximum flexibility to get the results expected and to be able to pivot if necessary. So, to drive that project success, to impact the profitability on projects, they're looking for key controls on project costs, to control project deadlines, and ensure the maximum flexibility of their team developer solution. OpenText Gupta continues to have a loyal customer base, and we continues to be essentially a developer's choice. That said, we have many customers, many developers that are on old versions of 5 and 6, and even 7.0 came out in 2016. The current release is version 7.5 that was released this year. And we at OpenText, we encourage you to request an evaluation, to try a proof of concept, to try out the current features. Many have been satisfied with an older version they're on, but with some of these feature highlights, change in market, the competitiveness of the market out there, the latest version is probably best suited to address those business needs on a go-forward supported basis. As part of that, we have a promotion for any customers that we have that are on an old version, 4, 5, 6, or obviously a subset major release of those versions. We'll offer and provide a single version upgrade fee to come up to the latest and greatest, preferably after you've tested and done an eval of Team Developer 7.5. And this is a promotion that we're going to keep in place until at least mid-September at this time. So please contact your partner, contact us if you require a partner, or call us direct for any questions or any additional information that you require. For Americas, actually, I'll provide a name. Perhaps I should have put it on there. Ray Zeruto is an open text contact point for all Gupta-related businesses in Americas. And Ray would be happy to help out with any questions or business needs or requirements that you have. And essentially with that, Martin and I want to thank you very much for spending the time today to join us for some highlights on Team Developer within the Gupta family. And with that, I think we'll move on and pass it to a Q&A. Ajay, do we have any questions?
Yes, there's a question by David Johnson. Will you plan to merge Report Designer with Report Builder so we get RTF, PDF, and HTML file generation?
At the moment, we have no plans yet, but this sounds like a good idea, and we'll look into this. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I see there's one other question along similar lines I just mentioned. They're just people asking if they want to book a demo or upgrade their existing solution. Again, please reach out to Ray Zeruto, Zerrudo, that's rzeruto@opentext.com. Ajay, do you see any other questions, or does...
There's one more. Sorry, there's one more. Are there any materials available to assist with an upgrade? Yes, as I mentioned, the best source is the Gupta YouTube channel, and just download the PDF of this presentation and you will have all the links there. Or go to youtube.com/Gupta Technologies.
Thanks, Martin. And just a quick URL for those who just want to do a quick perusing website. You can also get to our developer tools page through opentext.com/Gupta. All right. Then I think with that, we want to thank you everyone for your time today. We very much enjoyed you spending some time to understanding our Gupta family and new changes and highlights within Team Developer. Thank you very much.